Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're gonna try something different. Let's see. Okay, it's showing it. We're gonna try a podcast. We've never tried this before. I got some freaking index cards and some scissors.
Well,
Uh,
what are we going to do? Make like little arts and crafts like 3-year-olds?
yeah, we're gonna do that later when our podcasts get more popular. We're gonna knit on screen.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so the sound does sound good. Okay.
Yes, it does sound good.
I don't think the quality of the webcam is that good. I'm
It's
using
not
the
bad.
GoPro Hero 8. And I'm going to start this off by sometimes we might ramble because that's
A
just
lot.
how we are. Uh
We're a rambling man.
yes, we really are. I'm going to start off with my first story.
Okay.
And these stories are going to be themed stranger danger today because everybody experiences close encounters with people they're not familiar with or people who have untoward intentions. So I
So, like,
figured this.
encounters of the fourth kind.
Yes, encounters of the fourth kind. These aren't alien stories though, okay? Um
Hashtag listening. Why don't you
But
start off?
we might tell alien stories later. We don't know.
Yeah. Let's start off with an introduction.
Okay, so I'm
So, who are
Amber.
you?
I'm Amber. Amber Beer. You can just call me Amber or Beer, but don't call me Beer because that's what we call my husband. But I talk a lot, and this is why we're gonna do podcasts to be an outlet for my incessant mouth chatter. Okay, Kat, introduce yourself.
I'm Cat. Call me Cat. I'm also known by as Cody, but I prefer to be called Cat. I like to talk. I was once told
Mhm.
that I inherited my grandfather's love of talking
Mhm.
because if a wall would talk back to me, I would talk to it. That's actually something I have been told by both my grandmother and my mother. But yeah, so I enjoy talking. I got roped into this. Help me.
Oh
She
yeah.
forced me to do this.
This was
Uh,
my brain idea as of yesterday. But
yes, yes, but
I thought about it for a long time and then I completely forgot about it. But this was my idea since yesterday.
so
So
Amber, do you have any experience doing podcasts?
no, I just have experience talking people's ears off until their ears might start bleeding or something.
I actually, this is not my first podcast.
Oh, it's not.
No, I actually did podcast with a gaming group I was a part of about 5 years ago.
Oh, you did? You
Yeah.
see, that was probably when you and I hadn't really been talking to each other very much, but like some background on us. I think we've known each other for something like 11, 12 years.
11 years,
Okay.
2010 or 2011. We
Yeah,
met.
if it was 2011 then it would be 10 years, but I think it was before 2011 that we met. I think it was 2010. But Kat and I met each other in person earlier this year, the weekend after 4th of July. We went camping in Virginia.
We'll have to do an episode entitled "Camping."
Yeah, we'll do a camping stories episode. We can talk about our trip, but we can find some really creepy stories to tell people too, maybe. Because I'm really interested in not just telling my own stories, but telling other people's stories. Like, if people want to send us stories, I'll leave,
Yeah.
like, a link to my email or something that people can send us stories to, or I'll open, like, a Reddit thread or something that
Yeah.
we can do. Because I really like to tell other people's stories too. But,
Yeah.
without further ado, let's get into our spooky stories for today.
Okay.
So,
Uh,
well, stranger danger stories are spooky stories too. My bad. Anyway,
Yep. I will say
um,
I got stranger danger, I guess, but not spooky lined up.
well, stranger is spooky. Let me drink my water real quick. Um, so the first story I want to talk about, I don't remember too much detail, but I do remember when I was like 5, we lived in Oklahoma, and on the weekends we would do something. I would do something with my dad called Father Day, Daughter Day, and
Yeah.
we would go out to this play center, and I can't remember the name of it at the time, like right now, but it was a huge play center, and it's not really relevant to the story, but to say that I was alone with my dad, we went to a gas station, and two strangers approached the car, and I 100% wanted to let them in the car. For
How
my
old were
dad,
you? How
five,
old were you?
5.
5.
I wanted my dad to give them a ride.
Oh.
And I was not helping the situation because they wanted a ride to somewhere. I don't know where they wanted to go. I don't remember. It was a really long time ago. There are some memories that I have like from before this age that I am highly detailed in, but this one is a little fuzzy. I just remember I wanted them to be in the car. I had no idea how bad this situation could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Uh and my dad did not want to be like, quiet, be quiet, don't talk to these people, like, because he didn't want to like trigger them or antagonize them or something. But I just remember we finally like told them we couldn't give them a ride, and we left, and my dad was like, Amber, never ever let strangers into your car and don't talk to strangers. And maybe this gave me anxiety the rest of my life about talking to strangers, but probably not. That was probably far down the road, but I really don't like talking to strangers now. Even though I'm talking to a bunch of strangers now, depending on who and how many people watch this, and my cat's gonna want to go out, but she has to stay in. Because then, if I let her out, she's gonna do the same thing she's doing now on the other side of the door. But that is my first stranger danger encounter that I can remember. And this was where I learned don't talk to strangers. Do you want to
That,
tell your story next, or do you want me to go into another
I can tell
story?
my story. My
Okay,
story
go ahead.
requires so we introduced ourselves. I love playing video games,
Mhm.
but I'm a huge outdoors person. I love hiking, fishing, hunting, and all this.
Mhm.
Being out in the woods. And a lot of times I'm doing those things on my own. So, that can lead to a bunch of interesting tales. But we'll go to one who's actually with me hunting with a group of people. This one I want to say is about maybe like only about 5 or 6 years ago. Uh about 8, 9 of us hunting, and we had two guests down there on the property hunting. It was a father and son, real
Mhm.
nice guys. And during the hunting, we were trying to get some deer moving because that's what we were hunting at the time was deer. And three of the guys, the father, the son, and another friend of mine, all volunteered to push this like area, man push it. Where you walk through, you make a bunch of noise, try to get deer run out so people can shoot them.
Mhm.
We were determined to do that, and these three guys volunteered. This is give you an idea. This is some pretty steep terrain. Now, my stranger danger doesn't have to do anything with this, but this story is very important about it. So they're walking through like this side of this damn mountain on this property, pushing it, making noise, pushing the deer. We're all sitting there just waiting, waiting, waiting. All of a sudden, people pushing just open up. You can have shooting left and right. Come to find out, none of them were not that great. Were not great shots, and they kept missing one deer that would run like 30 feet and stop, run 30 feet and stop. They were missing it. They were all shooting it. I bet you they shot 20 times, right?
Mhm.
So eventually, they get the deer. We find the deer, um, and we go on hunting that day. And let's see. it was all good. We ended up having like lunch together, having some, drinks, all that. Not nothing alcoholic, just drinking some water and stuff, just chilling, talking, all this. And it was all good. Well, I found out, I think it was about 2 years ago, that father and son, the son went into his father's house and shot and killed him. Like 2 years after that hunt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So,
He Go
continue.
ahead.
Continue.
No, you go ahead. Ask your
Oh,
question.
well, what I was going to say, so he wasn't a murderer
When I met him.
when you met him, but he had
No.
the potential to murder you, and
Yes,
you
he
be
did.
his first person.
Yes.
Shoot, I don't
He
know if I'd like that.
Yeah, it was something else. Like I was, because I can still remember that day. It's like talking to us and everybody. Because when we all met up one day, everybody was talking like, "Did y'all heard about what blank did? What blank did?" And like,
Mhm.
and most people hadn't heard. So I pulled my dad aside, like, what's going on with blank? He said, "Oh, you didn't hear?" He said he went quote. He said he went off his rocker and went and killed his father.
Wow.
I think he may have killed somebody else too. But yeah, it was something else. That's just, I guess, maybe not stranger danger as much as
It was a
just,
close call.
it was a close call. Yeah,
Because you don't know. It could have been really stranger danger, but at the time you didn't know. You didn't know, you know?
yeah. I didn't know. You didn't know that this guy like 2 years later was going to turn around and murder his
Mhm.
father.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was creepy. It
Yeah.
was really creepy. I've had a bunch of those like creepy moments in the woods and stuff.
Oh yeah, I imagine we've got some really good wood stories to tell. And I
Yeah.
mean, I don't have any creepy wood stories, but I can find some good
Yet.
ones. Yeah, yet. But I can find some good ones. Especially, with my interest in like paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
But like you've got like hands-on good wood stories, and you've got good trail cam pictures too that you could show.
Yeah. I got some cool photos from places I've been in the woods that even places give me the heebie-jeebies.
Oh yeah. We could do like a haunted episode where we talk about like some spooky places we've been to. I know
Oh,
there's some places in
I actually
Virginia
got one.
that you want to take us. Uh, what do you have?
I just thought about this. I haven't even told you this yet.
Uh
About
huh.
last week, I went on a hike. Me and my mother.
Mhm.
We went on a hike up to this beautiful mountain.
Mhm.
It's along the Appalachian Trail, and so we're walking it. Um, she wanted to stop by. They have like little shelters about every like about 10 to 15 miles
Right.
for people to stop and sleep and stay at. They also have like privies there.
Mhm.
Well, my mom wanted to stop by to use the privy. So we come on into camp. We seen one hiker that morning. It was a crop. Was I think they'd been dropped off that morning to like a section hike.
Mhm.
And so we walked on in the shelter. And it's like, we're getting on down there. It's about like a 2/10 of a mile walk to the shelter.
Yeah.
And we get down there. Like, okay, no one's here. No one's here. We're walking up because most of the shelters have a log book.
Mhm.
Uh, where everybody checks in, puts your name and stuff when you come through and that, and they can be fun to read. Well, we're coming down there, no one's there. I turn the corner on the shelter because the shelter faces away from the path,
Yeah.
and there was a person sleeping in there who had all the telltale signs. Personally, I
Mhm.
didn't talk to him, of being homeless,
Oh. Yeah.
living up there.
Yeah.
You
Holly.
could tell,
Yeah. Uh.
and it was like, you know, I'm not saying there's anything, wrong with that and whatnot,
Uh huh.
but not far from that location, in a different shelter, there had been a guy living who everybody was being warned about because when he was living there, he was talking about the voices and stuff he kept hearing that were talking to him, telling him
Oh
what to do.
no.
So it immediately put me on edge that maybe this guy was here. I'm like, that's not a good sign.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I don't know how happy I was. I wasn't really happy at walking the shelter at that point. I'm like, we walked an extra like half mile to be like, oh shit.
No,
Like,
I wouldn't
no,
like that.
Yeah. So we kind of GTFO'd from there kind of
Mhm.
quick.
Yeah,
But
I would. When Holly worked at the library in college, the college that we went to, it had a public library. It was a public campus.
mhm,
Anybody could walk onto the campus. The driving was another story, but walking on the campus,
mhm.
uh, there was a lot of really bad stuff that happened. Like this girl, she was kidnapped out of the parking lot and murdered, and they found her body in a lake. But
Ugh.
homeless people, I digress. Homeless people would sleep and bathe in the bathrooms of the library, and since she worked at the library, she'd have to make them leave when it was closing time, and it always made her really uncomfortable. Uh,
Yeah.
and that's I don't know if like she'll ever come on the podcast or not because she's really shy about talking, but she'll give me her stories and I can tell them.
And Holly's a real
Oh
small.
yeah, she's small. Like me, I'm gonna be kind of really hard to mess with because I'm like 200 plus pounds, but she weighs barely 120. Anybody could easily overtake her.
Yeah, and
So
I'm
I
I'm
worry about her all the time.
yeah. See, I'm kind of like for me, I can hold my own because I'm 6'3" and about
Yeah.
300 pounds, and I know Amber here. Amber might not show it that well, but I
Mhm.
wouldn't take her on in a fight because I know she got some damn muscles.
Yeah.
I've
And
always said that.
that actually segues into the second story really well because the second story, my fight or flight instincts were on, and it was really the former more than the latter. Uh,
Okay.
so when I was 16, we lived in this really bad area of Little Rock. I
Mhm.
think it was southwest Little Rock. No, it was southeast Little Rock actually. A little bit. No, it's southwest. But there's this area that's really known for high crime around the Dixon Road area, and it's just not a place that is good for children to be. And this one, this I still get mad talking about this. But when I was like 16, I would get off the bus after school and I'd have to walk down the road to pick my 3-year-old brother up from the babysitter. And one day I go down there and I usually don't carry any weapons with me either, which is bad. I should have done that. After this, I started carrying like a pocket knife. But I was walking down the road. It's a really broken up uh not gravel, it's concrete, but it potholes everywhere and
Yeah.
ruts and stuff, and the houses on this road are either rundown trailers or really old houses built in like the 40s and stuff, and they're just destroyed. Like you can tell from the outside these houses are bad,
Yeah.
and the people that live in them are sketchy because they live in poverty, and people like from growing up in that kind of situation, people that live poorly are usually the kind of people that uh will be the most desperate and do sketchy and scary things for money and food and drugs and all kinds of stuff, and this is an area where drugs and theft and assault are rampant, right?
Yeah.
So I'm walking down the street and I get to the babysitter's house. And to kind of set this up, in the driveway, it's a little bit long, but not too long. The cat's gonna bother me. And she's gonna distract me. And the dog's with her. You can see the dog too. But it's because my husband got home and they can hear that he's home, so they really want him to open the door and let them out, and she's really gonna gonna ham it up over here. But if you're walking up the driveway, to the left is a trailer, and then another trailer is set up behind it, and the right is more like open space. But in between the trailer that day was a SUV, and I can't remember what kind of SUV it was. I want to say it was like a Suburban or something like that. Might have been like uh, a small. SUV, but a Suburban's not small. I really can't remember. I just remember either it was a truck with a camper shell or a smaller square-bodied Suburban, like a square-bodied SUV.
Okay.
And there was a guy sitting in it, and he looked sketchy right off the bat. And when I looked through the windshield at him, he was smiling at me with a really creepy smile, and I don't think he was like playing. Like he
Oh.
wasn't like, I'm gonna look at this kid and scare them or to joke. He was like leering, and his eyes were like dead. Like he's
Ugh.
like smiling like this. And it was really scary. And as I walk by his vehicle to go to the front door of this trailer to pick my brother up, he rolls his window down and he looks at me and he's like, "Hello, young girl."
Oh.
And
Oh.
instantly I was infuriated. I said to him, "Don't fucking talk to me." And I walked up the steps and I got my brother and I'm holding my brother's hand and walking away from the woman. And I don't say anything to the woman about this because she knows he's here. She can see him. She
Mhm.
obviously has business with him and I don't want to get involved with it, but he's staring at us the whole time I'm walking down this driveway and I'm shaking, but I'm not shaking because I'm scared. I'm shaking because I'm angry. I don't know what his intentions are, but I can feel that they're not good. And
Yeah.
I was worried for my brother because he's
Yeah.
only 3. But I was like, if this dude gets out of this vehicle, I will fight him. And I'm like 16. I probably weigh 160 pounds, so he might have been able to take me, but I wasn't going to go without a fight. We hightail it home. I lock the doors, but this house is flimsy. It's barely holding together. I'm scared he could kick the fucking door down. So I get a knife. I call my mom. She's not really that concerned about it. She's like, if you see him, just call the police. This is an area where the police are gonna take forever to show up because they don't care about this neighborhood. It's the slums. They don't want to be in the neighborhood because people like fucking shoot at the cops over here. They shoot at each other over here. They're not gonna take their precious time to be over here. They're gonna want to go be in the upscale area. So if this guy really was gonna break in, I'd be fighting for my life. Luckily, he didn't do anything, but I called my dad and told him about it when I got the chance. And that I told my dad, I'm like, this guy's a creeper. You need to tell this lady I don't want to see that guy around here the next time I go to pick my brother up. And that was the end of it. I never saw him again, but every time I walked down there to get him, I've thought about that shit. And I was like, if I ever see that motherfucker, I'll fucking stab him if he tries anything.
Damn.
Yeah, cause that was I'm still, a child. I'm
Yeah.
a teenager, and I was horrified. I really thought I was gonna have to fight somebody.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm.
did we
That's
share the podcast? Did we share that or announce that we were going live? Because I
yes, we did.
think okay, because I was like that totally slipped my mind. I'm not sure that we have like any viewers. I don't think that we do, but I think that they'll be able to view this when it's over too, and we can just send it to people for them to watch.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add, or do you want me to just go into the very last story I have, and then we can like talk a little bit and then transition out?
I'm trying to think because I'm trying to think of any like stranger danger things I've had because a lot of like I don't really have that many stories like any
Mhm.
stories that left me like creeped out or stuff that I can
Yeah.
remember. Uh,
Well, that's fine because we can like after I tell this story, we can go into like anything pretty much.
all
But
right, go ahead.
the very last thing I want to talk about was let's see, what year was it? Maybe it was I was not even like 23, I think. So I must have been. I was working at Remington still. So, and I had the Veloster. So it was 2014 or 2015. But it must have been 2014 though, because it was before I met Michael.
Okay.
I decided I wanted to get a vanity license plate for the state of Arkansas for my car. And the license plate that I wanted to get is actually hanging up above the door now. It's decommissioned. They let you keep your vanity plates in Arkansas, so it's not a big deal. I can use it as wall art if I want to. But I really liked playing Skyrim, and I had thousands upon thousands of hours in this game, and I was like, I'm gonna get a For Skyrim license plate. Nobody has that. That's gonna be cool. So I did my For Skyrim license plate, but it was gonna take a couple of weeks to get in, and the only place you could pick them up was the state capitol building in Little Rock. I don't know if that's like true, but like for the region that we lived in, you had to get them from the state capitol building. You had to pick them up in person. And I'm not too familiar with driving in downtown Little Rock. To be honest, I freaking hated driving in downtown Little Rock. It was a horrible place to drive in. The traffic is always really bad, and it's sometimes confusing too with the one-way streets, and it can be like really disorienting and stuff. But I had ordered the plate. It took me forever to get it approved because they wanted to make sure I wasn't using something vulgar. And then I
Yeah.
finally get like notice that it's at the Capitol building and I can go pick it up. So I drive down there. I think I took a day off for this.
Okay.
But let me let this cat out because she's gonna aggravate me. You're distracting.
Anyway, guys, word from our sponsor while Amber's away. We don't have any. If you'd like to sponsor us, please contact Amber.
Oh yeah, we don't have any sponsors, but we do have a dog.
We do have a dog. Yes, I have a dog somewhere too. My dog is out.
Yeah, now my dog is crying because my husband's home and she wants to go down there too, but she's gonna suck it up. Anyway, so I go to the Capitol building. I get my license plate. I am stoked to put this license plate on my car and drive around with my car saying For Skyrim. I thought it was the coolest thing. I think it's kind of nerdy now, but it does make cool wall art, and I'm never gonna get rid of it unless you offer me $1 million, and I'll sell it to you. I don't know if that's legal.
I don't know if that's legal either. So
yeah, let me fix my hair a little bit. Anyway, so I had a screwdriver in my car. I got the screwdriver out of my car, and as I'm about to take my license plate off, this van with dark tinted windows, it was like a white Honda, with darkly tinted windows, pulls up behind my car, and if I needed to back out, I wouldn't be able to back out. That's how close they pulled.
Yeah.
And the guy rolls the window down, and he's like, "Hello, miss. Do you need help putting on your license plate?" First of all, who fucking needs help putting their license plate on? It's the easiest thing to do. You just unscrew the little bolts on it and then take the freaking thing off and put it on and mount it back up. It's super easy. No, I don't need help. But then he starts in about, "You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. What's your name?" And
Oh wait, is this how you met your husband?
no. If my husband started talking to me like this, I would have been like, "Get the fuck away from me." But really, it was the other way around, where I was harassing him all the time and talking to him all the time and was like, "Hello, young boy. What is your name?" Anyway. There's only a year age gap between me and my husband, by the way. I'm not creeping on him. Like, I'm not a cradle robber. But anyway, this guy, he starts in on, "What's your name? where are you from? Where do you work? And he starts asking me all of these fucking personal questions. I told him where I worked, and I'm like, I don't know if you've heard of this place that I work from, but if you have, you don't want to fucking mess with me because I do dangerous things for my job. And I'm starting to get mad, and I'm like, if this guy has somebody in the back that's gonna roll the door open and try to grab me, they're gonna get stabbed with a screwdriver. I don't care if they have a gun. I don't care if they have a knife. I don't care about getting shot. I will stab you if you try to shoot me. I don't care. Don't threaten me because I'm not the most level-headed person, especially when it comes to fight or flight. I will run off of straight adrenaline, and my first instinct is always to fight, not to run away. So, if you're gonna try to nab me, I'm just gonna fight you. And it's not gonna end well. I mean, if you make it off with me, whatever, I really hurt you, I'm sure. But this guy, I was shaken up after he finally left. I was afraid he was gonna follow me, right? So the whole hour drive home from Little Rock to Sheridan, where I was living at the time, which is a really, really small town. If anybody's ever heard of it, they know it's small. You can pass through it in a freaking heartbeat. It's not a big town. There's nothing to it. But it's an hour away from Little Rock, pretty much. And especially the area I was in. The whole way home, I'm watching my rearview mirror to make sure this guy didn't follow me back. And then I would say not even a week later, I decided I'm going to buy a gun. And Arkansas is a constitutional carry state, so you're allowed to conceal carry without a carry permit. The only thing is you have to prove that you had no intent to commit a crime when you conceal carry. You can't conceal carry and have drugs on you. Recreational marijuana is not legal, so don't do that. But you can't do that anyway because it's a felony. But if you can prove that you had no criminal intent, you can conceal carry in the state of Arkansas. And that's the one thing that I really love that state for. I'm not living there now, but I really think that, especially for young women and stuff like that, I'm not saying that I don't condone carry permits and stuff, because I do. I think that it's a good thing to have because it'll help you if you ever are faced with that kind of situation where you do have to use a firearm in self-defense. It'll help you in the court case that is going to ensue after that. But Arkansas does have more lenient laws about concealed carry. But you don't want to put yourself in that situation either. But at the time, I was young and I didn't know, like, the whole process and stuff for getting a concealed carry. It is a little bit complicated in that state, and I don't tend to like complicated things. So it was easy for me to conceal carry without a permit legally.
Yeah.
I didn't do it everywhere, but I definitely did it in places where I don't feel safe. But that is it for my stranger danger stories. I don't think I've ever been, oh no, I really got a good one. I just thought about this. So me and my uncle David went to the Walmart in Bryant, Arkansas. And this Walmart is not known for being, like, bad or dangerous. Bryant's crime is so-so. There's some crime there. Break-ins happen all the time. Murders, I don't know about that. It's not as bad as Little Rock, I would say. Definitely not as bad as Little Rock. But it wasn't that bad, and we weren't expecting this to happen. But my Uncle David had this 91 Honda Civic hatchback, and it was a manual. And I don't think this guy would have been able to get very far. I'm just going to say that because he didn't really look in the car. But we went shopping at the Walmart, and whenever I would go with David, we'd spend a little bit in the Walmart because we're looking at like Hot Wheels because we like to collect die-cast cars and stuff. David likes to build die-cast cars too. He likes to modify them and make them really cool. David's a pretty cool dude. But
Yeah.
we are in the store for a while and we get out of the store and we're walking to the car and this guy approaches us and he's got a black bag in his hand. At the time I didn't recognize it for what it was, and I'll get into that a little bit in a minute. But he's talking to my uncle and he's like, do you have a charger in your car so I can charge my phone and make a phone call? And David's like, no. And me, my naive ass, and it doesn't matter how many freaking times this happens, I never think that people are up to no good. Well, I don't want to say I never think that people are up to no good, but I'm pretty fucking naive sometimes, and you can trick my ass. Because I was like, oh, this guy really needs to use the phone charger. David did not think that. He's from Florida, and shit goes down in the area that he's from Florida, right?
Yeah.
He knew something was up right away, and he noticed the black bag this guy had in his hand, and he's like, nah, I don't have a charger. Sorry, man, you're gonna have to ask somebody else. And as soon as David told him no, a police cruiser SUV pulls up next to us, and this guy fucking takes off across the parking lot as fast as he could, and we didn't even see where he went. But police cruisers were everywhere, lights on and everything, and that's when it clicked. This guy had a gun bag in his hand and was gonna carjack us. But David's car is a manual, and not everyone can fucking drive a manual, and it's not a quick getaway.
Yeah.
So this guy was not. He picked the wrong vehicle to try to carjack. And then two, the police were onto him already. I have no idea exactly what happened. I know they chased him into the brushes, and I think they kind of lost him after that. He was good at hiding. He was a little skinny thing, but he had a gun, I'm pretty sure, in that bag. Either that
Oh,
or he was
100%.
either that or he was really trying to convince people he did. But I don't know the whole story on that one. It was too long ago. I know David tried to look it up and see if they caught him, but a lot of this stuff doesn't get put on the news. Like
Yeah.
you're not going to see a lot of this stuff on the news, but that one was pretty crazy. David went on and on about that shit for a good minute when we got home.
Damn.
Yeah, that was a close encounter for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, that area is not like a dangerous area, so it's not one where we would expect anything to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, it was a little shocking. I probably would have fell for that and been like, "Yeah, you can charge your phone in my car," and then I would have got carjacked.
Yeah.
Or even kidnapped at gunpoint.
What do you mean? Yeah.
I don't know
Really.
what they're gonna do with me, but shit. But yeah, that's it for my close encounters tales. You know, the stranger danger episode number 1, stranger danger.
Yeah.
uh,
I actually have something for you.
okay.
This is kind of funny.
Uh-huh.
At least I think. So I talked about running into the homeless person at the shelter on the Appalachian Trail.
Mhm.
Well, after we had our camping trip, about 2 months later, no, about a month later in August, I went on a camping trip myself, completely solo,
Mhm.
nobody with me, and it was for those of y'all that do hike and stuff. It was more of a shakedown run for new gear and everything.
Yeah.
And I've been reading all over. I use an app for like maps and stuff for the AT,
Mhm.
and all over it was saying, "Beware the shelter, homeless person." He talks about how the government put a microchip in his brain to read his thoughts. How the voices told him to come out here and hide from the government and stuff, and all sorts of things like that. Right? Well, I'm reading
Mhm.
all this. I'm like, oh shit! I've got everything planned to go on this hike in this area. I hope this guy's still not here. This was like 2 months earlier.
Yeah.
So I'm like, of course, my family aren't like, well, I don't know if he's there. Call us. We will come pick you up
Mhm.
if he's there. I'm like, well, I'm not seeing anybody say anything about it recently because people have been coming through that point. So you know, I
Is this
hiked up.
the same guy that was from your other story?
No, we don't know. I don't know if it's the same guy or not because I never
Okay,
met him.
because it kind of sounds like it might have been the same guy. Similar situation.
Similar situation, but this is when he was first seen.
Oh, okay.
Um, I ended up actually walking up there that night and camping completely
Mhm.
alone, no one else there. And the only thing I had was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I had an owl decide to wake me up.
Oh.
But it was a little nervous. I will actually admit I was actually kind of nervous with the reports and stuff that people have been putting on up there. I'm like,
Mhm.
but yeah. So I think one of our biggest takeaways from this for anybody listening is take precautions to protect yourself.
Oh, definitely take precautions.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know. Okay, so
would
I know here Amber talks about how she conceal carries. I conceal carry.
yeah.
I also believe in carrying like pepper spray and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Yeah, pepper spray. Uh, the Kimber sells salt blasters. Like,
Yeah, I seen
and they're
that.
and they're legal. You can use them, so you can put somebody's eye out with that thing or really freaking hurt their face.
Yeah.
Shoot somebody point blank with a salt blaster. See how they like that, you know? I'm not
See,
telling
I
you to go assault people. I mean, in self defense, please
in
do
self
it,
defense.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
don't
Don't
assault people.
yeah, don't go after people just to go after people, but
Yeah.
protect yourselves. See, I like pepper spray because you can also put on your food if they don't have hot sauce.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you want me to go ask Michael if he wants to join us and tell one of his stories?
Yeah, sure.
I tried texting him, but he's really bad at texting, so I could go downstairs and see if he wants to tell a story maybe.
That's up to you. We can always get them on another episode.
That's true. But yeah, he really sucks at texting, so
I
uh
do too.
I could just yell, "Michael, come up here. Do you want to tell a
I,
story?"
I had I actually had a friend of mine that had
Mhm.
gone to the store to get something,
Mhm.
and he had asked me about needing a certain what I can. I recommended him a product.
Uh
He's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the store to get this. I'm like, okay.
yeah.
And then about an hour later, an hour and a half later, my phone rang
Mhm.
and rang. I went and got my phone. It was him.
Yeah.
The exact words were, "Motherfucker, do you ever look at your text messages?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He said, "I messaged you 45 minutes ago if I got the right item, and I'm sitting here in Walmart waiting on your response."
Oh no.
And I went and looked at the phone, like, "Oh, yeah, that's right stuff." He said, "Oh, thank you." And then I got grilled about this, like, how do we get you to respond to text messages better? I said, well, and as I told him, there's zero probability of that because I only respond to people quickly. If one, they're my grandmother, or two,
Uh-huh.
I'm in a relationship with them.
Right, right.
I'm like,
Michael is the same way. He doesn't really pay attention when he's getting text messages, and he keeps his phone on silent because he has a WhatsApp for like his work, right?
yeah.
So it's constantly going off and he hates the noise from it, and he doesn't just mute WhatsApp cuz he has to leave it on. So he just leaves his phone on silent. So he doesn't usually know. Let me see if he's actually like playing games. Dad missed part of our stream.
Oh, rip. Hello, Amber's dad.
Yeah. I told him it's not over, so he can come in here. But he did miss a majority of the storytelling. He'll just have to watch the playback. Cause I
Yeah,
did. It's my fault. I forgot to tell him, and I guess he doesn't have like the live notification set
yeah.
up or whatever. But I forgot to tell most everybody that I was going live except for Holly. She's the only one I told. I said, "Okay, I'm going live now," because she was sending me messages at the time. So I was like, "Well, I don't want. I am easily distracted. You're gonna see me like pause and stop, and it might seem like I'm not really listening sometimes, and that may or may not be true."
I mean, I'm gonna pause and stop too because that's just me.
Yeah, I get distracted. Just easily distracted. But
Yeah.
my dad
Well,
said,
well,
"Hi, I'm a loser." Somebody just rang the doorbell. I think it might be the internet fixing guy.
Oh.
So hopefully our internet doesn't go down.
Well, I mean, if we need to, we can, wrap the show up for tonight. I mean, I think we're at like 40 some minutes. Okay,
Yeah,
so
and we might stream tomorrow, or we can go live again here like in a little bit too. We might play some games tonight. I don't know, and I
yeah,
might do like the webcam with the games as well.
we should do
So
some games. We should do some spooky games.
yeah, we can do like Phasmophobia or something. But we'll wrap the stream up here, and Dad, you can watch the playback when it's ready. I think you'll think it's pretty interesting and pretty funny. But anyway, thanks for watching my total of 1 viewer. And like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you don't subscribe, I'm gonna be really mad about it.
She won't feed the dog for 2 days.
Oh no, don't say that. I'm not an animal abuser. Anyway, that's it for now, and see you the next